Howdy, everyone. Tad Stevens on the Micro Success Secrets podcast, where we focus on business, psychology, and marketing, and how you can use that in your business daily and long term. Today, I'm talking with Carri Nicholson. Carri, how are you doing? And listen a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Tad. It's lovely to be here, and I'm doing great. So I'm based in the UK, and I'm known as the Leader Whisperer. That's not a name I picked for myself. That's a name my clients gave me, and I'm very honored to have it. And I coach and mentor chief executives and business owners. And I work from everybody from solopreneurs right up to multinational sized organizations. And I work with them on a one-to-one basis. And I also have a couple of business mastermind groups where people work together to help solve problems.
Okay, outstanding. Sounds super, and much later than where we are here in the States this morning, but great to have you on. Really appreciate your time. What I usually start out with is a question I really like that I can't remember. I don't remember where I got it, but I love it. If you could go back in time, get a time machine, go back in time, and you could change one decision. First off, would you change it? And if you would change it, what would you change it to?
Do you know, since I've been thinking about this question, realistically, yeah, in my head, emotionally, there are decisions. There are many decisions that I keep replaying in my head and thinking, yeah, I wish I hadn't done that. Probably the biggest would have been marrying my first husband. Realistically, would I if I could go back and change that, would I? No, because if I'd changed that decision, the entire trajectory of my life would have changed, and I'd be doing something very different. And I probably, unless you believe in karma and all the rest of it, I wouldn't be with the man I love and the man I'm married to now, who is not my first husband. So realistically, everything that I am now is a product of all the decisions, good and bad, that I've made in the past.
And I get that quite a lot. That is I guess I'd say in our niche, that is quite common. I mean, we realize that we learn from our mistakes. And if I can encourage the listeners and viewers that don't fret your mistakes, don't hang on to them, don't carry them with you, let them go, keep going, because you'll get to where you're going.
Yeah, and you can't change them.
You can't change them anyway. You don't have a time machine.
There isn't a time machine. You can't change them. But the biggest thing you can do is learn to accept them and learn to not hate yourself for making them.
Totally agree with that. Okay, in the same vein, you've got the same time machine. And you can go back and you can think about or find one decision, maybe two, that turned out just super positive. I mean, it's one of those life-changing, or maybe not life-changing, but life-defining moments where you remember everything before that decision and you remember everything after that decision. It's like a beacon or a point or a dividing line. Do you have one of those or two of those, and would you share those?
Yeah, sure. I've got a business one and I've got a personal one.
Okay.
So the business one was coming to the end of my fourth go at this thing called entrepreneurship and running a business.
Okay.
And I'd founded an economic development consultancy practice. And we did great. We were doing pretty well. We were building up a really good reputation. And then we had a change of government in the UK and the bottom dropped out of the market. And I thought, shit, I'm going to need to earn some money. Sorry, pardon my French. I'm going to need to earn some money here. And I started working with the headhunter. And a headhunter said, I'm looking at your CV. I'm looking at everything that you've done. And you've done some really amazing things. But I have to tell you, you're actually unemployable. Because you are clearly C-suite jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't pigeonhole you because you have done too many things. Have you thought about a portfolio career? And I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, well, a non-executive combination of non-executive roles. And I said, well, I'm already chair of a non-departmental public body like a government agency, and I don't get paid for that. It's just expenses only.
Mm-hmm.
And he put me in contact with an organization called Vistage, and I ended up being a Vistage chair for 3 years, which had its ups and downs, but has led me to where I am now. And so that was what sounded like a really negative thing was actually super positive for me for where I am in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other super positive, and it is a complete clarity before and after, was how I met my husband, which was actually online on a dating app.
Okay.
And I'm completely cool about talking about this, online on a dating app. We'd actually just started talking as friends. And he was asking me who I'd been talking to and, who I'd been out on dates with and what I thought of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I found myself saying, and then there's you. And I have no idea why I did that. But it felt the right thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
And a year later, we were married. And 2 years after that, we had our daughter.
Wow, that is cool. And I can see how that would be a dividing line.
Yeah. And it's like, I still have no idea what prompted me to say, and then there's you, because I'd actually not thought of him in that way.
Mm-hmm.
That he is the best life partner that I could ever have. So yeah, hyper cool.
Trust your gut.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to oversimplify it in any way, but that's the way I would put it is,
Yeah.
I mean, your gut will be pretty good, pretty accurate for you if you listen.
If you listen. And so the big takeaway I now use with and I use that when I'm talking to business owners and leaders, is if you've got that voice in your head telling you do it or don't do it, you've got to have a really, really good reason, really sound reason for overriding the voice in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's telling you that for a reason.
Yep. Okay. So on the next question, kind of what we've been talking about leads into it, is that we come upon big decisions. I mean, life decisions, business decisions, especially as entrepreneurs. I mean, we've always got decisions that we have to make on this or that, or I mean, there's always something. And I'm as bad as anybody about, I don't want to do that today. I'll do it tomorrow. And tomorrow turns into a week, and a week turns into a month. And, you're going, and then you look at it and you go, oh, now I really don't want to do it. Do you have things that you do, that you come upon, and techniques, methods, tools that you use to get through those decisions? So another way, a colloquial way of saying it is, do you have a toolbox?
Do I have a system? How do I do it?
First how do you get unstuck? How do you how do you do it? And how do you tell other people
how to do it? First of all, I have an accountability buddy. I've actually got a couple of accountability buddies.
Okay.
And when I've been going through times of great change and having to make a lot of decisions, I've actually set up weekly calls with them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also one of my accountability buddies is my husband, because we work together. And so he is brilliant at saying, have you actually done that thing yet? Why haven't you done it? What's sticking you? And we talk it through.
Yeah.
But I have 2 or 3 people that when we're all going through change, we set up a weekly call, and it's like, what are the 5 things that I need to accomplish to make stuff happen this week? And I tell them that. And then the next week, it's like, have you done those 5 things?
Yep.
And if you haven't done them, what was holding you back? And what are the 5 things you need to do this week to make things happen? And we always start with an end goal in mind. So it will be for a specific project or a specific piece of work or a new development or a new business line. And you probably only need to do it for about 3 months as an entrepreneur. And sometimes it can be shorter than that. But finding an accountability buddy who will call you out when you try and give BS responses to why you haven't done something
Yeah.
is a really big deal. And of course, the other thing with so that's partly what I do as a mentor, is I am that buddy for the people that I work with. But the other thing that I do is with my mastermind groups, the whole focus of the mastermind groups is helping people get unstuck. And because we've got non-competing leaders, so they're all from different industries, we never have competitors, we never have client relationships in the room. And because they come from a wide range of sectors, when somebody brings a problem to the table that they're stuck with, what they have is a whole group of people who are objective, because it's not their business, but supportive. And because they've got different perspectives and different life experiences, they can help. I use the phrase, it's like seeing beyond the wall or seeing outside the bubble. So they can see different ways of achieving the same thing, or different markets, or, it's a very powerful way of helping people get unstuck quickly and helping them make better decisions more quickly.
Absolutely.
So yeah, number one tip, find an accountability buddy and use them.
And I love the mastermind idea and seeing beyond the bubble. And I hadn't heard it put that way. I'm very visual, and I love that visual.
Yeah.
Okay. So to wrap it all up, to put it all together, if you could start over, knowing what you know now, say the government changed again and bottom fell out of your market, something happens and you had to start over. Would you do what you're doing? Would you do something different? What would you be doing?
I do what I'm doing now. I can listen to CEOs talk about their businesses all day, every day.
It's wonderful.
I get such a buzz out, and I feel so energized when I know that I'm giving them something they can't get from anybody else, which is that safe pair of ears, that supporting pat on the back saying, you know what, it's going to be okay. We'll get through this, and helping them work through the challenges that they have. So, yeah, I guess I finally found my niche, and I'm bloody good at it. And I will probably be doing this until I drop, because I can't imagine not. And all I have to do is find different ways of reaching out. And the whole pandemic thing has completely changed my world for me, because all my meetings used to be physical. So I was actually restricted to a very small marketplace. And my mastermind groups were restricted to physical geographic marketplaces.
Right.
When we switched over to virtual, we've now got members from all over the UK meeting up, which gives a whole new dimension to how you do the problem solving, because you're taking it out of the regional equation as well.
You're bringing in a lot of different,
Yeah, and it's widening everybody's networks. And I'm now doing, I coach people in France, I coach people in Portugal, I coach people in the States, which I would never have thought of doing before. So there has been, for me, a silver lining to this, which is I've realized the world really is. You can use technology to make the world your oyster. And I would say that to any entrepreneur starting out in anything now. The world does not have to be restricted to what's on your doorstep.
It absolutely does not. And I used to sell physical products before I went back to my true passion, which is digital and online and consulting and coaching. And even then, even with a physical product, there's so many distributions and supply chains out there that really the world is as small or as big as you want it to be. And I think what you've done is just awesome. I mean, it sounds very, very cool. And you enjoy it. It's something you have passion about.
And that's actually the other thing I would say to any entrepreneur. The minute the passion stops, the minute the face, like what they say about gambling, the minute the fun stops, stop.
Yeah.
So if you can't be passionate about it and you can't inject that, if you don't wake up in the morning thinking, I really want to do this, I'm so looking forward to the calls I'm going to make, I'm so looking forward to making a difference, that's the time where you have to sit down and go, something has changed in my life and I need to work out what that change is, but I'm clearly not in the right game anymore.
Mm-hmm. Carri, thank you very, very, very much. That was awesome. Appreciate your time and sharing today. It's time to wrap up. Is there anything that you would like to close with? Anything that you have that you can offer the viewers and listeners that might benefit them?
Yeah. I am I'm going to confess that I'm going to be very busy over the next 3 months because I'm running some amazing programs for in the UK. But I am more than happy to offer to your listeners, if they want to book a half-hour session, see what it's like working with somebody like me to get unstuck, then if they go on to my website, which is www.carrinicholson, that's spelled CarriNicholson.com, then they can find out much more about me, what I do, and they can also book a session with me. And if they want to track me down on LinkedIn, I am the only Carri Nicholson without an E at the end, but I'm also really easy to find because if you put in the Leader Whisperer, you'll find me. So okay. Yeah, people want to talk, book a slot in my diary.
Super, and I'll make sure that all that contact information, LinkedIn link, all that is in the show notes and in the description wherever we happen to post the audio or video. Thanks again. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate everyone listening in today. Have a safe and productive week and be the very, very best at whatever you are doing. Until next time, this is Tad Stevens with Micro Success Secrets. Bye for now.
Bye.